My fiancé M33, and IF28 are getting married in December. His mom is the intrusive type but she's nice overall and we somewhat get along. I hate to admit that wedding planning has been an absolute nightmare. His mom wasn't willing to agree on most things, and my fiancé said that since he's her only son then I should respect and appreciate this vision she has for the wedding and how it should be. She insisted to come along for wedding dress shopping. I took her with me and my mom and friends. I was so lucky to have found what I was looking for. But she picked a dress that she liked so much and said that she always pictured her son's bride in it. Mom and friends thought this line was creepy. I thought the dress was somewhat creepy and totally not my type. I apologized and thanked her for her vision but told her that I'd already decided on a dress that I had envisioned myself wearing at my wedding. She got all pissy because of it apparently, then must have told my fiancé because he came home in the evening ranting about how I made his mom upset and turned down her help in choosing the wedding dress and excluded her from the process. I asked what process? It's just a wedding dress. My wedding dress, so I really didn't get how she should get a say at all. He got upset and said that this attitude of mine isn't working on him or his mom. He said that I should consider the dress his mom wanted me to buy, especially knowing that both dresses weren't that much different anyway like she said, but I told him yes they were different. Like so much different. Anyways, we argued about it then we dropped it. Yesterday I came home and found out that he had returned my wedding dress and replaced it with the one his mom wanted. I called him and he was straightforward about what he did and why he did it. I lost it and started screaming at him. He asked me to calm down and really give this dress a chance. I refused to even listen. I screamed at him without giving him a chance to speak. He got home and we had an argument. I then went to stay with one of my friends and he kept calling and calling then texting saying that I overreacted and it's his wedding too so it wasn't cool how I screamed at him. He insisted I give this dress a chance. He went on and on about how his mom has a vision and good intentions and just wants what's best for me as her future daughter-in-law. Mom is livid and has been wanting to go scream at him and his mom, but my dad said that this isn't worth ruining my relationship with my in-laws. He suggested I wisen up and go with the flow, but is it too much for me to be able to pick my own wedding dress without being guilted about it just to keep the peace? Ada for my reaction? ETDQ and as. I'm editing in some answers to frequent questions I get. A. The dress she picked wasn't all too crazy but just wasn't my type. B. This issue started during wedding planning and there were other things like way too many things we didn't agree on. But this vision has been there for quite a while. C. I am paying for the dress obviously. D. My fiancé's dad is deceased. Also, his mom suffered from multiple health conditions. Has no daughters but one only son. E. He's still persisting. My husband, M33's best friend, M37, Will is infertile. He got divorced 2 times because of it and because he lied and hid his infertility. And his life hasn't been the same the day he was told he can't have kids. He has always had a soft spot for children and when he found out that my husband and I are expecting, he was so thrilled and started buying us gifts and decor pieces that he made from his woodwork for the baby. My husband thinks that those are all nice gestures but I couldn't help but feel uncomfortable, especially with how much he keeps mentioning the baby. A few days ago, my husband and I found the gender of the baby. The minute we told Will, he started calling the baby a random name he picked and was going to give to his baby if he wasn't infertile. He then started begging us to use this name and my husband said it was a done deal. I refused but my husband called me heartless and asked me to do this one small, nice gesture for his struggling friend to give him closure and honor him after all the things he has done for us. I flipped and said it's my baby not his. Will heard this and left immediately. My husband yelled at me saying it's his baby too and my behavior towards Will was abhorrent. He left after him and didn't come back till the morning. He kept saying the same thing and pressuring me to agree on the name but I refused. Ada for choosing this hill to die on? On mobile and I've never posted here before so sorry in advance. I, 28F, met my husband Dex, 30 meters 10 years ago. At the time, he was a single dad to a 6-mo baby girl, Lily 11F. I worked at the bakery he'd stop at every Saturday before their walk, and eventually we started going out. We got married 6 years ago, and I legally adopted Lily soon after that. In my family, it's a tradition that the oldest daughter gets gifted an old sapphire ring on her 11th birthday. The ring belonged to my grandmother, who gave it to my aunt, who gave it to me because all of my cousins are male. Lily's 11th birthday was a few months ago, and I gave the ring to her because she's my oldest daughter. She loves that ring more than anything. She put it on a chain to wear around her neck so that she could keep better track of it, and in the months that she's had it, I've never seen her take it off. My sister Mia, 24F, is one of Lily's favorite people. Lily really loves her aunt, and sometimes Mia will just text to let me and X know that she's picking Lily up from school to go eat or go to the bookstore or something like that. The other day, I got one of those texts from Mia, so I just told her to be safe, have fun, and make sure my daughter came home at a decent time because it was a school night. Lily got home about an hour after we had dinner, and she barely said hello to her dad or me before she went up to her room. I thought that maybe she was just tired, so he and I didn't immediately ask her what was going on, but later that night I went to go check on her because I wanted to be sure. When I walked into her room I saw that she had been crying. I asked her what was wrong, and it took a minute, but she eventually told me that Mia took the ring from her because it's a family heirloom that's supposed to go to the actual oldest daughter, and because I adopted her, that means she isn't really family. The only reason I didn't go to Mia's apartment that night to get it back was because I spent the rest of the evening reassuring Lily that she is my family, and she is 100% my actual oldest daughter no matter what our DNA is or what anyone else says. I left Mia a voicemail the next morning telling her to return the ring before I drive over there and get it myself. She texted saying she would only give it to me if I had a daughter before she did, but until then she'd keep it safe to make sure I didn't give it back to the wrong person. So then I told her that if she didn't return the ring by 2 p.m. that day, I would be calling the police and reporting it stolen. She started texting like crazy, saying I was being ridiculous and doing too much. Our mom isn't on it now too, and she thinks saying I'd contact the police was taking it too far, and that Mia was only trying to keep to the family tradition. My husband has been sick for a few days. He got sick around the time of my brother's wedding. I took care of him 24 hours for days. He's on meds and can move and go to the bathroom and eat on his own. I told him I was going to my brother's wedding and he threw a fit saying I couldn't leave him alone while he's sick. I told him he was not that sick, it's just some stomach that he's getting treatment for, and suggested he call his sister to come stay with him. He said no and told me to miss it. I got upset and bluntly said no and that he could survive for a few hours while I attend the wedding. He sulked, and as I was leaving, he said he hoped I won't ever come back. It hurt my feelings, but I know he was just mad and didn't mean it. At the wedding, I got a text from him saying he lost balance and fell off the stairs and hurt his back. He said he was in a lot of pain, he threw up and couldn't move, and insisted I get home ASAP. I freaked out and started calling his phone, but he didn't answer. I thought he must have passed out, and I freaked out even more. I got in my car and drove back to our house immediately. When I got home, I rushed towards the stairs while calling out his name, but he wasn't there. I started to really freak out. I rushed into the bedroom and found him in bed drinking juice, and soon as he saw me he put the phone down. I instantly knew he lied, so I lost it on him and started yelling saying he freaked me out and caused me to miss my brother's wedding for nothing. Absolutely nothing. He said that he already told me I couldn't leave him alone in the house and that this very scenario could have happened if I stayed there any longer. I yelled at him, calling him horrible, which made him cry. He started crying and throwing his juice all over the place. I had to step out and call his sister thinking she'd come help, but she came and started cussing me out saying I had a lot of nerve, expecting her to back me up after I so carelessly left her brother alone at the house in that state just to attend the party. We got into an argument and I went to stag with my family. My brother understood WHR and I explained the situation to him. My husband and I haven't seen each other since then, but his sister kept saying I had no right to scream at her brother and cause him a panic attack, and said that he at least was clear with me from the start, but I chose to be dismissive. Was what I did dismissive? I'm 26 years old / he's 23 years old. My husband and I are expecting our first baby. We've had some ups and downs with his parents because they don't understand boundaries, but overall it's been really good. For some context, I, 24F, come from an abusive home and I can't stand being touched. Before getting pregnant this wasn't a problem with my in-laws, but now that I'm carrying a baby, it's been awful with my Mil and my Sil because they think they can touch my belly whenever they want to. Both my husband and I have talked to them, and said that while I would rather they don't touch me at all, I can understand this is a big thing as a family, so I would simply like being asked instead of just feeling a hand at random times, but they rarely do it, so I just move when they touch me. Now, on to the subject. A week ago my best friend threw me a baby shower and I invited my in-laws, and since I don't have any blood family left, we let them invite 10 more people, which included aunt, cousins and my husband's grandparents. It was an overall lovely moment, but at one time, I was sitting eating cake while my Mil talked with my Phil's sister, and while telling her something about the baby, she put her hand in my belly and I just didn't like it. So I took her hand, removed it and said no, you know I've told you not to touch without asking first. You know how to ask first, do you? It's easy. With the most condescending voice I had. Both my Mil and my Phil's sister looked at me shocked, and then my Phil's sister laughed but my Mil got red in the face. When it was done, my Mil approached me and said that what I did wasn't nice and she just slipped, so I didn't had to treat her like a kid. I just smiled and said that she touching me after being asked a million times not to was a kid behavior, and I just called her out on that. She left, very sad, and when we got home, my Phil called my husband and said he would love for both of us to apologize to each other, but I said no. So he called me and I have 3 daughters, Phoebe, 19, Allie, 18, and Janie, 15. We also have a 2-year-old Chihuahua wiener dog mix, Pebble. We were in the middle of a heat wave 2 weeks ago with temperatures hitting 107. Small dogs are more sensitive to heat, so we don't let him go to the backyard for long periods of time, and the deck is off limits because there's no shade on the deck. The problem is Pebble loves the deck because he can watch the cars, people walking on the trail behind our house, and he can see our neighbors' chickens. Janie doesn't have first period and doesn't leave for school until 10 a few days a week. Both Allie and Phoebe leave between 9:30, so it's Janie's responsibility to make sure Pebble is inside, the fans are on, and he has water. 2 weeks ago, in the worst of the heat wave, Pebble was crying at the deck door. Janie got annoyed and let him go on the deck. Then she left for school and forgot him on the deck. Allie came home a few hours later and started looking for Pebble. She found him passed out on the deck and called me sobbing. I left work early, took him to the emergency vet. They treated him for heat stroke. He had to stay at the vet for a few days and Allie was inconsolable while he was gone. She was constantly crying, she wouldn't eat or leave her room, and she had a panic attack every time the phone rang because she was terrified that it was the vet telling us that Pebble was gone. Pebble made a full recovery, but now we have an expensive vet bill and Allie still has extreme anxiety around losing Pebble. Janie's upset because Allie hasn't spoken to her since she forgot Pebble on the deck, and Phoebe rarely speaks to her and doesn't hang out with her anymore. Janie was upset about Pebble when he was in the vet, but now she's very nonchalant about what happened because he's fine. My husband and I have been talking about what to do with Janie. We decided on making her get a job to pay for Pebble's vet expenses, close to $2,000 after insurance. Janie's very upset about it because she has to quit swim team to get a job and says that we're ruining her life over a mistake. Now I'm starting to wonder if I'm the asshole for making her quit swim team to get a job. Also, she can't get a job after swim season because soccer season starts right after swim season. Then after soccer season she has softball season, then summer training camps,